Hey loves, this is Bobby and I'm here with another vlog. And this is going to be the last vlog of January. I can't believe we're already at the end of the month. That's just crazy to me. And this was a very chaotic reading week for me. I didn't do two of the books that I mentioned that I was going to read last week. I will talk about those and why I didn't get to them. But I also threw in a bunch of other books because I really wanted to finish both of my readathons, which are the Pop Culture Readathon and the Explorathon. I wanted to finish them 100%, and I did end up doing that. So I was very excited for that. It was crazy, but I needed to get in a couple more prompts, and I was able to. And I was kind of in a fantasy, like I didn't want to read like a hard fantasy book for some reason. So one of those books just kind of, I'm going to read it next month, but yeah, I got put on the back burner for now. But let's get into this. The book that I was reading at the end of last week was Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This is the graphic novel adaptation, and I love this. It was 5 stars. I've read the novel. It was 5 stars. The movie is one of my all-time favorite movies. If you're interested in getting into Neil Gaiman, or if you've had trouble with him in the past but you want to give him a shot, I do recommend his graphic novel adaptations. The art is always gorgeous. They are wonderful adaptations. You're not really missing anything when it comes to the different, the changing of the formats from novel to graphic novel. Like I said, I absolutely love this, but I loved the book. It was creepy. It was wonderful. I just really enjoy it, and his artwork in here his artwork and his graphic novels are always phenomenal. So yes, I fully on recommend this one. I'm going to go a little out of order about what I read because I just want to talk about this book because I don't want to talk about this book. This was one of the ones that I added onto my TBR to get in the a different prompt, and this was for the Labyrinth prompt, which is to read a book about Fae. I went into this book with like 0 expectations. When it first came out, I was really interested in it, but then afterwards, everything I found out about it, I was like, I really don't know if I want to read this or not. But it's been on my shelf, and I kind of wanted to see, like, do I want to get to the next book or not? Do I not want to read these anymore? So I gave it a shot, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Okay, let's do this really fast. 1 star, didn't like it. I almost DNF'd it every single chapter. The only thing that I liked was the prologue. That was it. I did not like a single character. I didn't like the plot. I didn't like the writing. I didn't like the world. Everyone talks about this is like kind of like a dark book that, you know, everyone's kind of like violent and, you know, everybody's scheming and you can't trust anybody. So I was like really excited for that. I was like, hell yeah, like I love me some like morally gray characters. Everybody just acts like they're a bully in high school or middle school, more like. It was just, I did not like this. Like I said, I didn't like any of the characters, especially the main character, Jude. I just did not like her. The main love interest, Cardamom, something, I don't know, something like that was his name. Something with C. Cardin. I did not like him. He was nothing likable about him. He wasn't charming. He wasn't even like he was just a dick is what he was. And also, like, I looked up like fan art because I was really curious, because I know there's a lot of fan art because this has a huge fandom to it. Why does nobody draw him with his tail? Because the dude has a tail and everybody conveniently leaves that out. It was really weird when I found out he had a tail, and then I saw, because I've seen the artwork of these characters like in the past because of the Facebook groups and stuff I'm in. I know they're really popular. I get why they're popular. I understand why people really like it. There just wasn't nothing I just didn't like anything about it. So I will not be continuing the series, and I will be unhauling this. So yeah, I don't want to talk about this book anymore. I left myself notes, and I don't even want to talk about those notes because I just really, really, really disliked that book. I ended up getting in some comic book graphic novels in because I wanted to really hit off those last kind of prompts that I needed. I needed one for the polyamorous prompt on the pop culture readathon, and I don't like reading romance, and like anytime I was looking up for like any kind of polyamorous relationship in book, it's all like straight up romance or like erotica, and that's not really for me. So I kind of looked around and I found a really awesome comic book, well, graphic novel, and it is Be Gay, Do Comics, and this is by various authors, art and artists. It was really great. I love this. It was 4 stars. Each one of these artists give their own story on who they are and, you know, where their place is in the LGBTQ plus community. What, you know, there's some of them are a little longer, some of them are like 1 strip long. Like, they're really interesting. The artwork was wonderful. We have representation all over. We have non-binary characters, we've got trans characters, we got ace characters, we have those that talk about being in poly relationships, and it is just wonderful. And just kind of like finding out who they are, you know, just discovering who you are and where you fit into this community. It also has a lot of history in it as well. The Stonewall riots, as well as the different, you know, other moments that really built up the community and everything, and just these key points, as well as where the rainbow flag came from and how the colors and everything and how it changed. This was really, really interesting. I recommend it to absolutely everybody. All the different authors' stories. You will connect to more than one of them. I know I did. And it was just wonderful. I really, really liked it. I have found that I really like nonfiction when it's in graphic novel form. As I've mentioned before, I have a really hard time with nonfiction. Like, I can't read them. I've tried audiobooks and I didn't really dig them too much, but when it comes to graphic novel form, I just eat them up. I love it. And on that note, I needed a book for the a middle grade featuring friendship. I can't remember what spot it was on the thing. I was looking into different ones, and I was trying to find a middle grade. I wanted to do another graphic novel because I really, really like the like graphic novels and stuff. I was really feeling them right now, and I came across one that is called Defoe, and it is by C.C. Bell, and this is a middle grade autobiographical graphic novel about her experience from when she was a kid and she ends up losing her hearing and becoming deaf. This was great. Like, I love this. I recommend this for all ages. It was wonderful. She draws the characters as everybody is a bunny. Also, really quick, I have found that from when I was listening to the audiobook for Bunny at the beginning of this month, I am still saying bunny really funny, and it's just, no, dear Lord, someone please stop me, but I can't stop saying bunny weird. So that's a thing now. But back on track, because this book was wonderful. Like I said, she draws all the characters as, you know, even herself as a bunny. This is her experience. She loses her hearing when she is, I think she was like 6 or so. She was before she even got into the 1st grade. And she gets sick, and that's how she ends up losing her hearing. And this kind of follows her life and then this takes place in the 70s. And it's just kind of like how different technology was, especially because she had to wear like hearing aids, and then she had to wear this, I think it was called like the photosonic ear. It was like this big kind of speaker thing that she, you know, put the headphones in, and like a teacher or something would have to wear like a microphone so she could hear them in class. And she really explains being deaf in a wonderful way that adults and kids can learn a lot, because I learned a lot from this. It was just really well written, and it does really follow the friendships that she, you know, has to build after she loses her hearing, because she went from being, you know, a normal kid to, you know, a kid with this disability that nobody understood, especially because of that time. And the different way people treated her, especially other kids, they would treat her differently. Like, you know, they find out you're hard of hearing or deaf, and the first thing they do is just kind of yell at her. They just start talking really, really loud, or they start slowing down their speech for her. And she learns how to read lips and everything. And, you know, she points out that, you know, speaking slow actually makes it really hard for people to understand lip reading because you're exaggerating and they don't know what the hell you're saying. As well as, you know, just because you're speaking louder, it's like she can hear that you're speaking louder, but the way she, you know, she's trying to process the words, it doesn't make any sense. So a lot of that was like really, really interesting to find out. And then she is a kid, so seeing, you know, like she just wants to be treated like everybody else and not understanding why people aren't, and then why her parents are doing the things they do. I went with 4 stars in this. It was wonderful. I feel like for kids it might be a little on the long side, like they might lose a little bit of attention span, like maybe like almost near the end, but it was just really great. I loved it. I stayed interested pretty much the entire time, and it really does though hit on the friendships, because seeing her, you know, through her very first best friend to her best friend in the first grade, who was kind of like a really bossy person and wasn't that great of a friend, but you know, it was just someone willing to be her friend, so she accepted these friendships even though they weren't the best. And then you get her friend in the third grade, who was one of the ones that always kept introducing her as, this is my death friend, and then you should talk to her this way, and like really exaggerated the way she talked. And you know, Cece's a kid, so she doesn't know how to tell people like, this isn't helping, you need to stop doing this. So she comes up with this alter ego for herself, which is Defoe, and this is how she kind of talks herself into being a little more like aggressive with like, don't talk to me that way, don't do this, I don't want to do this, you know, this, I just want to be treated normal. And then we meet her when she meets her like first real friend that accepts her for who she is, doesn't treat her any different. And then we meet her first crush, and then, you know, the different teachers and stuff that try and help her. Like I said, it was just wonderful. Absolutely anybody of any age would love this. It was great. I recommend this for everybody. I ended up messing up and I read 2 books for the time travel prompt. The first one I read was a comic. It was really, really short though, so I didn't mind that I read a second one. But the first one that I read was I Killed Hitler by Jason. This takes place in a world where hitmen are completely legal. Like they have an office and you can just go in there and pay them and they'll kill whoever you want. It's very dry humor. This is very dark, dry humor, which is usually right up my alley, but I just feel like a lot, like this could have used a lot more. Like it kind of felt like it was missing like something going on. Basically, we follow the story of a hitman who eventually gets hired by this dude that tells him he wants him to go into the past because he built a time machine. He wants him to kill Hitler. And of course, things get kind of messed up there. Like I said, it was really fast paced, really fun. I went with 3 stars because like just nothing about it really popped too much about it. I am interested in the author's other works though. The second book though that I read for the time travel, and it's like I said, I messed up and I was like, this is what happens when I don't write down things, because I totally forgot that I had read I Killed Hitler. So I ended up picking up The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. As you know, I'm not the hugest fan of classics, but I have found that I really, really enjoy H.G. Wells' work. I loved this one. I went with 4 stars. It was really fast. I ended up doing the audiobook at work, and it was wonderful. The narrator was great. But I read War of the Worlds last year and I really enjoyed it. And then I read The Invisible Man years ago, like I think I was maybe like 12 or something, and I want to reread it to see how I still really like it, because I have found that I really, really enjoy H.G. Wells' work. But we follow the story of a man. He's just known as the time traveler, and he ends up traveling very, 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 very far into the future, to 802,701 AC, 80, my bad, not in the past, in the future, ding dong. And the society is basically almost non-existent. There is 2 groups of people, the Eloys, I think is how it was pronounced. The Eloys and the Morlocks. The Eloys are like these almost adult kids, like they're very just kind of simple beings. Like they don't really, they're like basically all vegetarian, and they look like kids almost. And he ends up kind of adopting this one named Weena, And then underneath in these cave, there's these Morlocks who we find out what their whole business is. I like this though, and then he eventually gets his way back into his time. This was wonderful though. I really recommend it if you're interested in getting into classics. H.G. Wells sci-fi actually really holds up is what I'm finding. I'm really enjoy it. I'm glad I got to this one. Like I said, I really want to do The Invisible Man though. But yes, this was 4 stars. I could definitely see myself wanting to do a reread of it sometime. So yeah, there we go. The next one I read is because I needed one for a book centered around a holiday. I ended up going with Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. This is like the 14th book in this series. I did not know it was part of a series. I just looked up books that had to do with Halloween because I did. When you look up books that have to do with a holiday, it's all Christmas. I didn't want to read anything in Christmas, so I found this one. I got lucky and there was an audiobook available for it, so I ended up just downloading it and listening to it. You don't have to have read any of the other books because, like I said, this is I think like the 14th book, and I didn't feel like I missed anything. We just following like a detective. His name is Hercule, and he gets asked to come investigate this murder because at this Halloween party, this young girl is drowned in a tub of water that they were using for bobbing for apples. And when he gets there, he finds out that there's, I think her name is Adriana. She's a fictional crime writer, and they were talking and stuff, and this young girl mentions that she actually saw a murder years ago, and next thing you know, this girl ends up dead. It was good. I went with 3 stars. I'm not a huge fan of mystery, and I've only ever read one other book by Agatha Christie, and that was And Then There Were None. And it's a classic. Unlike H.G. Wells, I'm not a huge fan of Agatha Christie and And Then There Were None. I hope that's the name of the book. But yeah, it was okay. I wouldn't read anything else from this series. I didn't really care too much. All they do is talk. Like, this book is 90% dialogue, and yeah, I just kind of got lost on half of what they're talking about because these people just kind of like blah blah blah. So I didn't really care for it. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, would never read anything else from it. And I want to try reading other books by Agatha Christie just to see if maybe there is one that I really like. But like I said, I'm just not huge on mystery, so. And for the last book that I read this week, and it was the one that I was actually super excited for, and this is the one that actually had a lot of people ask about it when I had mentioned I was going to read it, and that is The Palace Job by Patrick Weeks. This is the heist book that I had to read for the Goonie prompt, which is to read a book with a heist. The book couldn't be The Six of Crows because everybody was basically just going to read that, and I've had this book on my Kindle forever, and I'm so glad I finally got to it. I loved it. I went with 4 stars. It was so much fun. I feel like this was closer to 3.5, but I did go with 4, and I'm happy with the 4 rating on it. My biggest issue with this book is that Patrick Weeks decided that he was going to name absolutely everybody and everything in this. Like, I got super lost while listening to the audiobook. I actually had to pause the audiobook and pull up my ebook on the Kindle app that I have on my phone just so I can kind of follow along, because this book, I don't say this, I don't think I've ever said this, but this book needed to slow down. There is so much happening in this book, and I feel like reading the physical book for this would be the way to go because you're able to follow along and like associate all the names and everything. But listening to the audiobook, I got a little lost sometimes because, as you know, I've been doing myself a list of characters, so when I talk, I can talk about them. These are just the main characters. These aren't all of the characters. These are just all the main characters that are like important to the story. But he names everybody. Like, usually, like, if you meet a bartender, they'll just name them, like, the bartender. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is, like, the bartender has a name, and his daughter has a name, and his mother has a name, and then this one character that we're not even going to actually really meet, they have a name. So there's a lot of names going on, and you know me with names. And like I said, the action in here is amazing. It's so fast-paced, this book is, that I wanted it to slow down because I was like, holy crap, there's too much happening. Like, I need to catch up. What the hell? Like, but it was really, really good. I loved it. I will definitely want to read the next 2 books in the series because this is a trilogy. So let's talk about what this book is actually about. We follow the character of Locke and Kale. Locke has been falsely imprisoned. This man named Celestine, he has framed her for desertion in the military because she was a scout in the army, and he has taken over like her fortune and everything that she had from her parents, like whatever money that they left. He's adopted her younger sister who is blind so that everyone will think he's this great guy. And the thing is, everybody like believes this dude is like wonderful, and he's a bastard. And Locke is planning on breaking out of this prison with her former he was like her second in the army, and they're like best friends, Kale. They're planning on breaking out so that they can put together a team because they want to rob Celestine from this ancient scroll or manuscript that was part of it was like an heirloom from Locke's family, and they want to steal it back. And when they break out of jail, they pull, they're getting out of jail was great. I absolutely love Locke. She is an amazing character. She's awesome. Locke and Kale are actually people of color. Almost all of the women in this group, because we have like a good chunk of women in this group, I think all of them are people of color except one, which I will get into because she doesn't actually count as a white person because of reasons, but I will get into that. But yes, Locke and Kale are wonderful. I love their relationship to each other. They're like best friends. They both trust each other, and Kale is freaking hilarious. He does a joke where to get people mad so that they'll fight him and they'll get distracted, as he does the "I slept with your mom last night" jokes, and he literally knows how to say this in like different languages just to piss people off, and it's really funny. But like I said, their relationship is great. And then we get introduced into, they now have escaped prison and they're trying to put together their heist team, and we meet Turn and Icy first. Turn is a safecracker, an alchemist, and just an all-around tinkerer. She's basically what a tech person would be, the tech person of the group, but since this is a fantasy world where there's no computers or anything, she is like the do-it-all type of person, and she carries a crossbow, and she's always just wants to shoot people with it, and she's freaking wonderful. She's probably my favorite character in the book because I just absolutely adored her. She was amazing. And then we have her partner Icy, or Icy Fist, whose full name is the Indomitable Courteous Fist. He goes by Icy or Icy Fist because his parents apparently hated him because that's what they named him. But I love Icy. He is the contortionist. He's the one that can sneak into everywhere and stuff, and he's great. Their introduction to their characters are wonderful. And then we get Desidora and Gilsbauer, Desidora is a ex-love priestess, current death priestess. So she went from being a matchmaker to free love, everybody, let's just all love and have sex together, into this death priestess who is out to kill people, and she can raise zombies, and it's just crazy. The Warhammer Gillies can talk, but he talks like, I don't know what language it is, and it's just like funny because they like argue back and forth, and it's just wonderful. I really loved both of those characters. They were great because, yes, the Warhammer is an actual character, and the more we find out about the Warhammer, it's really cool as well. And then we get the next two members of this group, and that is Hessler, who he is an illusionist and a wizard in training that actually gets thrown out of school. And he ends up kind of conning some people, and when he does that, he ends up thrown in jail with this teenager. Everyone else I think is like in their 20s, I want to say, maybe 30s. And then we get the kind of young one, which is Derry, who Hessler meets when they're traveling, they meet, and he ends up meeting up again when he gets thrown in jail for hustling these people. And Derry is this absolutely just beautiful farm boy that's running away from home, and he's just so pure and wonderful, and I love Derry. Like, he's just kind of like, he has a past and a secret that we don't know, and the more we learn about it, like, he was the one I was like kind of like, okay, what's going on with Derry? Like, I need to know. And when it does come out, it's actually freaking wonderful. And I loved him because he's just supposed to be that perfect little, like, wonderful child. Oh, not even child because he's like 16, but just like he's the perfect one. And then we get the one that everybody wanted to know about, and that is Eulenia, who is the unicorn. Yes, you heard that right. She is a unicorn, and she is a vital part to this group. As well as being a unicorn, she is actually a shapeshifter as well. She turns into a bird as well as having a human form. And when I said with the women in the group, she's the only white woman that was like the only like white woman that is in this group, because all the other ones I believe are people of color as well. But she's the only reason she's white is because she's a white unicorn, and when she transforms, she's white, and she's like glowy, like ghostly white type of thing. Like, it's just really great. But when it comes to Eulenia, let me tell you. And when it comes to Eulenia, they get her to join the group. And her one stipulation is that she is promised a virgin because she is a unicorn, and they stick with the kind of mythology that, you know, they're attracted or they will like to be around virgins because they're pure or whatever. It's fucking wonderful. She is just amazing when it comes to that, because Derry is our precious little virgin. And the way they, Patrick Weeks did this is that though she is attracted to virgins, it is not actually sexual at all. Eulenia actually comes off as pansexual because she doesn't seem to care species, gender, or anything when it comes to virgins. Like, she just wants to be around them because they're like magical basically. But she actually comes off as aromantic because she's not interested in them sexually at all. It's just like this kind of aura that they exude for her. And when she is with Derry, it is the most adorable because that is her precious baby through this entire book, and she is wonderful. Like, let me tell you, Eulenia is one, like, you will love her. She's just magical and perfect, and her human form, she even still has her horn, and it's just great. And then we have the character of Pivik, who is the one that is tracking down Locke after he's basically like the cop, and he's trying to find her, and then he kind of figures out what the hell she's up to, and he's still trying to track her down. And I really like the kind of back and forth with that. It's really cool. Like I said, this book was just so much fun. And then we've got dragons, we've got air demons and fire demons, and just there's these tinkerers and like explosions and just magic and just so much going on. Though, like I said, that was the one thing that got me with this book and why I couldn't go with like a full hearty 4-star, 5-star, because like I said, it just needed to slow down because Patrick Weeks shoved so much in here. And like I said, there were so many characters. I did get a little lost a couple times, but I would recommend this book, especially the physical version. 100% recommend this book. Read it, love it. It's super fast paced. It's really fun. This would make a great movie or a TV show. Like, no lies at all. Like, it would be perfect for that format. But yes, read it. I loved it. I would like to do a review on this one because it was just so much fun, and like there's so much to talk about, and this video could be like an hour long if I kept talking about it. But yeah, so yes, read this. It's wonderful. Like I said, I've never seen this book mentioned anywhere ever. So yes, and I know a lot of readathons and stuff, they always have prompts with like heists and stuff, and a lot of people never know what to read. So yes, read The Palace Job by Patrick Weeks. It is full-on heist. That's the whole point of this book, is that it's a heist, and I think the next 3 books are all heists as well. So I'm very curious about those. I'm hoping to get them in before the end of the year because I would like to finish this series because I need to know what's going to happen to my precious characters, because I absolutely adored Turn, and then Eulenia is just my wonderful magical unicorn baby. So there we go. That was my reading week. So really quick, the 2 books that I did not get to this week, the first one, I was going to be reading The Shining for a haunted house book, but I actually, since you're able to double up books for the prompts on the pop culture readathon, Anya's Ghost actually worked for this, and I put this off. I'm going to be reading it for sure in February because I'm going to be doing the Wayward Readathon that is hosted by the same wonderful hosts of Pop Culture Readathon, and we need a book that takes place in the mountains. I could not find a book that took place in the freaking mountains. Like, I was having the hardest time, and then I like was starting this. I got into like the first chapter, and I was like, wait, this has the mountains. I'm not going to read this. I'm saving this for freaking February because yes. So yes, this I will be reading in February. This next one was the book that I was most excited to read, but I just kind of got a little with A Gathering of Shadows and The Cruel Prince just kind of threw me off really bad with the fantasy. So I will be reading this. This will be my very first read in February, and that is going to be Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. I am still very excited for this. I just really needed a break from the fantasy, and that's when I got in the graphic novels as well as the sci-fi with the time traveler. I mean the time machine. Time traveler. The time machine. So yeah, this is going to be the very, very first book I will read in February. So I am super excited for this. I cannot wait. I need to know what's going to happen because I'm dying to know. But yes, so there we go. Those are going. So I didn't get to them, but I still managed to read all of the books that I wanted to, and I finished all the prompts. It was just those two, but they're both moving on over to next month. Really quick, I bought some books and I bought some other stuff that is book related, so let's do that really quick. I bought Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. I've got like 5 different versions of this book. I want all of the different covers. I do plan on reading this in February for the Wayward-a-thon. Dean, one of his favorite authors is Kurt Vonnegut. This is one of my favorite books, so I knew I wanted to get it because I really wanted to reread this again because I usually tend to reread it every year, but last year I didn't. And I've always wanted this cover. I always find like the really old covers. Like I have like really old ones from this that I've never actually seen like pop up anywhere else. But I wanted this one because I just like this one a lot. So, and I get a discount at the bookstore at my work. So there we go. And then this one I'm also going to be reading next month. And I was very excited to see it there because this author's books never go on sale, so getting a discount really helped. And that is No Longer Human by Junji Ito. As you know, I fell in love with Junji Ito last year with Uzumaki, Tomi, and Gaio. So I want to read everything by him. And like I said, I got this on discount. So I just love his creepy artwork. And this is for a book that creeps you out. That looks like it'll creep you out. And this book is definitely going to creep me out because he always has that one part in there that just freaks me the hell out. So I'm super excited for that. So I bought some books because I have no self-control at all. So really quick, my last little book is some really cool bookmarks. You're able to get these customized. The seller was posting in a Facebook group that I'm in, and I thought these were really cool, and they were only $5, and I just thought they were wonderful, and they're completely customizable, and they look like the old checkout tags that they would do in the bookstore and the libraries, and I just thought they were wonderful. I got these 3 of them made for 3 of my favorite books, and I definitely want to get more. She does them for $5. They are laminated, so no worries about them getting dirty or anything. But I did one for The Hobbit. You can get whatever you want, put it on them. The dates are completely customizable, and then she had the different character names, as you can see, Legolas and Bilbo. I just thought these were so cool. And then I got one done for The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy with the different characters and everything. I even had her put Douglas Adams' name on there. And then last but not least, one of my all-time favorite books, I got one done for American Gods, and as you see, the different characters and everything. So I thought these were wonderful. A Wild Lass is the name of the store on Etsy. I will drop her link down below. But look at, these are just so cool. I plan on reading The Hobbit and American Gods later this year, so I'll definitely be using these. I have already read Hitchhiker's Guide, but I want to read the rest of the series so I can use these. So yes, I want to get more of these done because like I said, they were only $5, so they were great. She is based in the US, so just know that. But yeah, I will drop her link down below. I just think these are so freaking cool. So there we go. There was my crazy week. Like I said, I ended up all over the place with these books and just trying to fill it out. I wanted to get a blackout on all of my readathon, and I did. So there we go. I would love to know what you read this week. What was your favorite book you read this week? What are you planning on reading next week? Are you taking part in any readathons or anything for February? So there we go. That's what's what, though. As always, I'm Bobby. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I will drop all my links down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and happy reading. Bye.